All right. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we're going to give all praises to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Kakwadash.
double honor to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to Allah Hakim out there that's doing the work with sincerity and charity. All right, to you I salute. Okay. Today we're going to go into something a little bit different. We're going to go into politics in this country. Yeah, because that's a hot topic right now, in this country. And the voting, when you go into it, when you go in depth, well, us as Israelites, we don't vote, right? We don't supposed to vote. But then, there's the Bible gives guidelines. Now, yes, we normally use the book of 1 Samuel chapter 8 that goes into that, but we're going to go into something a little different because the principle applies. Okay? Now, what I want to cover is how, you have these so-called illegals, right? These illegal Asians or migrants, obtaining fraudulent documents. Oh, see what I said? Which in the eyes of the law, that is a no-no. See what I said? Also, when you even if you get straight to vote in the country or become a part of that country, the Lord still recognize you that you ain't supposed to vote because that is reserved for 100% authentic, so-called whatever nationality it is. See what I said? What this, right? Paul, the Apostle Paul said what? He was a Roman citizen, right? When those centurions was beating him down. So by him being a citizen, yes, he's provided with some sort of protection, right? But when it comes to politics in that place, they never partake. Why? Because they wasn't the original citizens, even though he had citizenship. See what I said? So the principle is the same. Okay? So I have to chat about migrants or illegal immigrants, voting in this election. They tell me it said no, it would not be right or lawful in the Bahamas. Saying that we in the Bahamas, right? It says in the Bahamas, voting in a national election is legally reserved for Bahamian citizens. See what I said? That means what? You must be an authentic citizen. Two, then it goes into the process of you being registered to vote, that you got to meet the age requirements. All right? So it says someone who is illegal or undocumented migrant does not meet those requirements, so they are not legally allowed, to vote. Right? Okay? They're not legally allowed to vote. Then it goes into why it matters. And then it goes into fairness plus sovereignty. Right? Then it says elections are how a country's citizens choose leadership and decide national direction, allowing non-citizens, especially those without legal status, to vote would raise serious issues. That's what's happening right now. That's what all the noise about in the market, right? Sovereignty, right? The sovereignty that goes into the citizens. The citizens have the right to determine their own government, right? So someone of a foreign nationality don't have a say in that, right? It goes into fairness, right? It says it would dilute the voice of the lawful voters, which hence what? Corruption.
That's what we see now.
That's what happening now. See what I said? It goes against the rule of law. It will go against established election laws. You see what I said?
Create chaos.
Right. Then when you look at it from a balanced perspective, right? It says this doesn't mean the immigrants don't matter, right? It said many countries, including the Bahamas, provide basic human rights and protections, allow legal pathway or residency. Okay, yeah, right. It says it allow legal pathway or regular Slovakia allows legal pathway to residency. Right. It says or citizenship, Slovakia. It says, but voting is tied specifically to its citizens. Right. That didn't include everybody. See what I said? So to dictate the laws of the land or leadership or what's not, okay, that have to be decided by 100% authentic Bahamians. Right? See what I said? Okay, all right, right. Now what we're gonna do? We're gonna get a biblical perspective, right? And we're gonna bring some precepts that actually give an interesting angles, on these illegals versus the citizens of that nation. But this is what we're gonna do. All right. Okay. Now the Bible. All right. Citizens with the people of Israel, but in this case, he's talking about so-called humans and the strangers, which is the foreigners living among them, or among us, right? Both would both were treated with fairness, but they did not have same authority or role in government. Okay? So if the illegals allow the vote, right, then our whole system is corrupt. Done. And the Lord ain't dealing with that. All right. Now what is right? The Bible makes it clear that leadership and authority belong to the people of that nation or our country, right? Let's hear what the scriptures got to say. Let's get Deuteronomy 17 and 15, brother. That's it. And we're going to show you, according to scripture, that is unlawful, unjust, and corrupt, right? This, and that even in balance to the most high, even in India. Corrupt. What, right? Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Yeah. So this is Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shall thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Right? See that? Now the point is, the Most High command that leadership must come from among their own people, right? Not from outsiders. You see that? Good. So even if someone so-called is born of a, let's say, Asian parent into this country, and they become the humans on paper, they still ain't supposed to be like that. No. You understand? Okay. Because they ain't authentic. Right? They ain't of your people. Right? Now, this shows the principle. National decision and leadership are for the citizens of that particular nation. So yeah. All right. All right. Salakia, Shalom, brother. Qam, Yasharahla. But I saying the volume. All right. The speaker. Yeah. Yeah, brother. You can put a one in the. All right. Water, brother. Right. All right. The second point: strangers are to be treated fairly, but that had limits. See what I said? That had limits. So that means the resources and then okay, because you had one of them president of the Asian thing saying that you know that they spend more on healthcare or more on taxes than Bahamians. What kind of shit that is? You know? See what I saying? That goes to show he corrupt. Right. You see what I saying? Because yeah, we come and we allow you to use our infrastructure, our healthcare system, school system, what's not right. But for me, who's a 100% authentic Bahamian, you can't luck to get what I get.
Exactly.
You see what I saying?
He's an outsider.
He's outsider. So that's why I said it had limits.
You can't have the same privileges.
No. You see? All right. So for that, let's get the book of Leviticus 19 and 33, brother. 33 and 34. Done. All right. This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh, your power. Right. All right. Now we know this obviously this is speaking to Israel at large. Right. But we're using it, in the sense of dealing with, our fellow brothers and sisters. Right. So the strangers here are referring to here are the immigrants. See what I'm saying? They must be treated with respect. All right. They must be treated with respect and justice. Right? But this voice does not give them authority over the nation. Right? Because now, what you seeing now, you seeing these damn Asians, they getting so bold.
I was about to say,
You understand?
Yeah.
Making videos. All this shit is wrong.
Yeah.
You see what I said? And what all that doing? That's vexing the citizens of this country.
Right.
Done. You see what I said?
Done. So lucky, right? And these small privileges, would they have? They start to get arrogant.
Yeah.
And they feel like they need to have more privilege than the actual citizen. And then the state of how it is now. What we use the term they biggity.
Yep, right.
And they don't respect. They start to not respect the actual citizens.
That's it. See, because of these privileges they have, okay, they believe that they should be treated equally.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So if they go this way and that way, they will basically consider themselves as Bahamian.
Mm-hmm.
Right. While all along, their loyalty in the country.
No.
Their loyalty to their country, but they want the benefits of your country. Right. You see? So the laws could differ between citizens and strangers. It's different. Right? What is right? Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 21. Done. Okay? Done. This is Deuteronomy 14 and 21. You shall not eat of anything that died of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat of it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien. For thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt not steal a kid in his mother's milk. Right. So these were different rights and roles between the Israelites and non-Israelites. So the principle applies the same.
Yeah.
All right. Again, well, I looking at Baham in the nation, so-called Baham in the nation. Because this is a big thing right now, especially this kind of time coming into election time. You understand, and you have to understand what is happening to understand how the outcome of the election. You see what I saying? What's taking place? So you got the point, brother.
Right, you speak about them, they loyalty is to back Haiti, and I remember a couple years back.
When you look at it economically, all right, let's say they $1 million of this country every year annually. All right, that ain't what they're giving this one and that one to carry when they go home. So that's just weighing on the $14 million, right? The $14 million that come out of circulation, that taken out. So that gone, that completely gone. You understand that weakening the economy? See what I saying? All right. But anyhow, the scripture said that the stranger do not rule or decide for that nation. Just don't come before them.
Okay.
Right? What this, right? Get Deuteronomy 28:43. What this?
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt become down very low.
Right. Now, this here is listed as the actual curse. So they damn bringing this curse here to us.
Yep.
You understand? You see that? Meaning, it was saying that out of order for strangers to rise up above the people in authority. And that's what happening now. We have a clear example of that.
The actual citizens, then the ones in authority, be the ones in authority.
Right. And they're rising up above us.
You're right. Then I don't know if you all seen that little post where I think I want to share it. But 150,000 Haitian or something like that.
Right.
Within the country.
Yeah,
Right. That's half of the population.
Right?
population, that's some shit.
You see what I saying? Okay. All right. But yeah, man, that was saying as out of order for outsiders to rise up above the people that are in authority. They give you a case. What happened? You got a Haitian lady. She gonna apply for an NIB card, or in foreign Babylon they call that the social security number. But she gonna obtain this by fraudulent means.
Yeah.
So the authority look at that and see that a document was fraudulent, and they call the police. Right? So she gone and she made a call to Bahamian MP, a man that's in authority.
Yeah,
But saying now that the house is dissolved, he gone there thinking he had some type of power.
he
But
neutral.
little that he know the house that the man, he should know that the house is dissolved.
He neutral.
So he neutral, he don't have a say in that matter.
No.
You understand? So the police lock him up.
Yeah.
You understand? That's wicked in the eyes of the Lord. It's not basically they moving the landmark. You see?
And Salaki, and you see right now, we at the end, and all the corruption being exposed.
Gone. And the thing, man, that remind me of that Transformer movie I think it must be part two or something. We're doing bring Cybertron to Earth. It's like Haiti want to bring their country to the Bahamas.
That's it.
Their ways, ideology, everything.
They're gods.
Their God, right?
You see? Because before time, I'd be real with you. Right? We never used to, yes, we used to have hurricanes and shit, right? But since these people come here and they bring their damn over here and they bring their shit here, we start having all kind of damn natural disasters and devastation and shit, but we never used to have them kind of shit before.
And we witnessing videos over there to the other island over here, how the Most High bring judgment on them for partaking in witchcraft.
That's it.
We never used to have that.
Our people now used to be mixed up in that shit. Talking shit, but you fixing this one, putting OB on this one, OB on that one. But again, the reason why I'm bringing this out to give you a backdrop before we actually get into the politics side of it, so you'll understand. But the key, we can bring it all together from the scriptures. The strangers should be treated fairly and with compassion, right? But they were not given authority to rule or govern or even damn vote in the nation, right? Leadership and national decision belong to the people of that particular nation. That's it. So aliens had no say in that matter. Whether you damn born there or whether you become that on paper. All right. So in principle, allowing illegal immigrants or strangers without lawful standing to vote, that would go against both modern law and biblical order. So guess what? If you allow these people to vote, the Most High ain't gonna allow that to happen. Because the angel already gone forth in the spirit to block all of that shit. And I can show you that in precept as well, in scriptures as well. All right? Because voting is a form of authority, influence, and governance. See what I'm saying? And the scripture shows that that belongs to the brethren, which is the citizens of that country or that nation, not the stranger. So that is the right reserved for 100% authentic Bahamians. See what I'm saying? Now, I kid you not. Yesterday morning, I go on and I do a lesson, right? Then build my lesson, everything. Yesterday evening when I get home, when me and the brother come from doing a little job, but I couldn't rest. I couldn't rest, boy. This morning I couldn't rest. The spirit had me that, to bring this out. Notice I even ain't got my book. God. See what I'm saying? But we can go a little bit deeper to show you how this ties to the New Testament teaching, and whether anything changed on the Mashiach. And this is where it gets really interesting. All right? Now, the key thing to understand is that Yahushua brought spiritual equality, but he did not erase order, roles, and structure in nations. That never changed. All right? So Yahushua acknowledge and separate nations and boundaries. So you're only allowed to do certain things. Okay? What this? Let's get Acts 7. What this?
Yeah. This is Acts chapter 17, verse 26. And had made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and had determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation.
Right. Now, all people are equal in origin. That's the one blood. See what I'm saying? But the Most High still established nations with boundaries.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that means what? That means nations still have their own people.
Right. Yeah.
All right, they have their own order. They have their own governance, and there ain't no other damn people supposed to come in and influence that. Because that ain't order in the eyes of the Lord. That's corruption.
Yeah. Like I said, that's just like we were saying it earlier, that they want to bring their ways into our ways. They want to bring their order into our order. See?
Right. That's like the prime minister say, right, trying to get smart. Right. And I hear this damn girl, Kitty, whatever her name is, right? She repeating what the prime minister say. Say only Bahamians could vote in elections. Right? So what about those who are the strangers who become citizens? Okay, on paper. On paper, they're Bahamians. You see what I said? So that's why he said, man, only Bahamians could vote in election. But in the eyes of the Lord, that's still a sin of corruption. You see what I said? And he ain't gonna allow that to pass through. You could even feel the change in the atmosphere. Okay? Okay? Now, believers must obey the laws of the land. Yeah. This is established by the Lord. Be Romans 13:1, brother.
Right.
Okay? But at the end of the day, it's the Most High would have the last say.
That's it.
Not no damn prime minister.
It's Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of power. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh.
Right. Now, governments and laws exist by the Most High allowing it to exist.
Exactly.
All right. And people are commanded to follow lawful authority. You see what I said? So, in a place like the Bahamas, if the Lord says only citizens can vote, right? Then biblically, that law should be respected and upheld. Yeah. Tell Mario Moxie or what do you name? Neil Ellis, them challenge that. You see what I said?
Yeah.
All right, now this ain't have nothing to do with breaking God's law, because he all about fairness.
Done.
See what I said? Okay? This law should be respected and upheld. And the Most High can make sure that happens. All right? Because if you look around the country, man, we used to be on Facebook, we used to be on social media, and the people them crying with overwhelming numbers. Okay? The next thing, right? It says there's still a distinction in citizenship. Even in the New Testament, citizenship mattered. Because you would hear me use the example with Paul. Right? Now, for that, brother, let's go to Acts chapter 22. We can read from verse 25 to 28. Okay? All right.
God, this is Acts 22:25. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yeah. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained, and the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained, I did freedom. And Paul said, but I was free born.
Done. Right? Now the Apostle Paul uses Roman citizenship to claim certain rights. Right?
God.
And that ain't had nothing to do with voting. So yeah, that's when you read, give me Romans chapter 11, brother, and 1. What is right?
God, I'm reading right now. Romans 11 and 1. I said then, have the Most High cast away his people? Yahweh forbid. For I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin.
But right here in Acts, he just says he's a Roman citizenship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he uses Roman citizenship to claim certain rights. And one of them ain't with damn voting. See what I said?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, different legal statuses give different rights and privileges. You see what I said?
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has the same authority in the nation. Okay? And this yet directly connects to voting today. All right? So voting wasn't a part of that. Voting is a citizen right, not just by you being in the country. Let me rephrase that. Voting is a right for 100% authentic Bahamian right, not just you being the thinking on paper. Because we see Paul at it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now prove me wrong. You see? Yeah, man. Now we can look at spiritual equality equals political equality. Right? Let's get Genesis, Galatians 3:28, brother.
This is Galatians 3 and 28. There's neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For ye are all one in Mashiach Yahushai.
Done. Now this is about salvation and standing before God, not about government rules or national authority, right? Spiritually, we equal, right? Because they are brothers and sisters as well. They are Israelites, right?
God.
But politically and nationally, we set up different.
That's it.
You see what I said?
That's it.
Each land have their own laws. Each land have their own ways.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So from both the Old and New Testament, strangers are to be treated fairness and with compassion. All humans are equal before the Most High, which we know. Respect the laws of the land. All right. Stranger were never given authority over a nation. All right. And citizenship still doesn't determine rights and privileges or who get the right to vote or who don't get the right to vote. All right. But when you look at the scriptures, all right, when you look at biblical plus practical, allowing immigrants, okay, allowing immigrants to vote would be seen as an action against the laws of that particular nation. It also would be seen against biblical pattern of order, because voting represents authority and deciding the direction of a nation. You see? So that is a right reserved for 100% authentic, Bahamians.
That's it.
All right, all the scriptures we brought out so far consistently shows that belongs to the citizens of that nation. See what I said?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, this something like the covenant. It is for all Israel, Okay, the other nations have no part in this. Same thing. See what I said? All right. They have no part in this. That's it. Now, all right. Now, some might ask a question, right? What if illegals obtain fraudulent documents to vote? Does this still apply? How you mean? God law never changed. His word never changed. So of course it damn still applies. Yeah. See what I'm saying? It applies, it still applies and even more strongly. Because if someone uses a fraudulent document to vote, right? That ain't a question of immigration no more. That becomes deception. That becomes theft of rights. And that becomes breaking of the law. And all those things the Most High is against. See what I said? So now we're gonna look at this both legally and biblically to see if it's morally right. Okay? Let's see if a fake or fraudulent document is right. Right?
The scriptures say, render the Caesar with the Caesars.
Right. So from a legal standpoint in the Bahamas, right? Voting without citizenship is already considered illegal. Right? Using fake documents is fraud and impersonation. That could lead to some serious criminal charges. So even if they appear legal on paper, it is still unlawful because the foundation is deception.
So
guess what? Yabashim Yoshai ain't dealing with that. You see?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go right now, there's a division between among people.
Right.
From the damn least to the greatest.
Yep.
From the damn child to the adult. I'm telling you.
that's it.
That's the guy you are here that they campaign. When he's on TV, he was saying like, if you're on the line to go to vote, and if somebody in front of you who you know is a Haitian, or somebody in the back of you who you know is a Haitian, but let's ask them to speak the Queen's language, the Queen's English or something like that.
Done.
Basically, he's telling them like, yeah, man, to have a conversation with them. Okay, and if they sound like Haitian, okay, then basically we fought them. This is what he's saying. Because like going right back to what you're saying, only authentic Bahamians could vote. Okay, so how is it that you as a foreigner, you obtain a Bahamian voter's card, but yet you are not a Bahamian? You see, you're still breaking the law.
That's it. You know, when this is what is gonna happen come election day. All right. Now, from a biblical standpoint, right? The Most High condemns deception and fraud. Let's get Exodus 20 and 16, brother. Let's get Exodus 20 and 16 when they put this down.
Exodus 20 and 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Right. Thou should not bear false witness against thy neighbor. That's deception, right?
Right.
The jump to Proverbs chapter 12, verse 22, brother.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 12, verse 22. It says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight.
Right. Now, thou should not bear false witness, right? And lying lips are an abomination to the Lord. Right? What about fraudulent documents?
Right.
Same thing, right? All right. So fraudulent documents equals what? Lying and false identity.
That's right.
You see what I said? So that's still a lie. So guess what? That can't pass with the Most High.
That's it.
See that? Get the government board, brother. Go on.
Shalom, Malakiam. Yabashim Yoshai, bro. Shalom, sister. All right. Yeah, but you chat, bro. No.
Done. All right. So taking something that isn't yours, that's stealing, man. You see what I said? That's stealing. Thou should not steal. That's it. Let's get it next one. Exodus 20 and 15. All right. So to allow these persons to vote in this election, that's stealing. You think that's right in the eyes of the Lord? Right. Exodus 20 and 15, brother.
Exodus 20 and 15. Thou shalt not steal.
You see that? Thou should not steal. Voting illegally. What are that?
Stealing.
That's stealing. That you now, because what you're doing, you're taking a right that belongs to that citizens of that particular country. You're thieving that. Now, you, on top of that, you're influencing the decisions that aren't yours to make. Because when you do that, obviously they can make the decisions to favor you.
Right.
Right.
All right, so that falls on the theft of authority and privilege. You got something?
I go into the word steal, right?
Go ahead, brother.
It says strong it says steal away, to be stolen away. It says when you go in the Strongs, it's a permanent root to thief, literally or figuratively by implication to deceive, secretly bring.
Deception. You understand? And the Most High ain't down with that. All right, the Most High Yahweh requires just and honest dealings. It's supposed to be upright. What is right? When they opened Parliament 4.5, 5 years ago, then they opened it up with the Bible, with the Apocrypha, for the King James Version Bible with the 1611. Poland saying they can follow this and this can be the laws of the land.
Right. That's it.
See what I said?
They're swearing on it.
They swearing on it. But now, you won't come on, man. You think the Most High can get that?
Yo.
What is right? Give me Proverbs 11 and 1.
Right. Is that one of the Strongs meaning back and steal means to secretly bring, and that's what they want to do, bringing these Levites, secretly bring them in.
That's it.
God, this is Proverbs 11 and 1. A false bond is an abomination to the Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight.
Right, a false balance is an abomination to Yahweh. Right, so elections are supposed to be fair, balanced, and honest. See what I said? Now, if you ain't have this intent, or if you ain't coming with this, ain't nothing happening. You see what I said? Because guess what? Fraud corrupts that balance. You see what I said? Fraud corrupts that balance. So even if someone successfully fools the system, the Bible focuses on truth, not appearance. Because the Most High deals with what is right, not just what passes. Fraud doesn't becomes right just because it is in court. You understand? The Most High shall see that. See what I saying? So if illegals, obtain fraudulent documents and use them to vote, then guess what? That's still wrong legally. It is even more wrong biblically, because now that deception is added. See what I'm saying? It becomes a combination of breaking the law, lying, stealing authority, and also corrupting justice. See what I'm saying? Okay. Now, what we're gonna do? We're gonna go into what the Bible says should happen to leaders or a system that allows this type of corruption. What do you think should happen? All right. Okay? What the Bible says about leaders and system that allow this corruption, because this is where responsibility goes beyond just that individual. All right? Leaders are required to uphold justice. You see what I'm saying? This is why the scripture tells us, man, to get one of our own nation. See what I'm saying? Let me go over 29 and 2, brother.
This is Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Right. So, if the leaders allow corruption, like fraud in voting, that's going to lead to disorder and suffering among the people.
That's it.
Like the brother said, man, if the current government were to get back in with under these stipulations, the citizens is going to have it fucking hard, boy. You understand? Now, the next point is leaders who ignore wrongdoing going to be judged. Right? Let's get Isaiah 1:23, brother. All right? Get it? Yeah, you got it.
This Isaiah 1 and 23. Thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Everyone loveth gifts and followed after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither doth the cause of the widow come unto them.
You see that? Thy princes are rebellious. This going into your leaders. And companion of thieves. Everyone that loveth gifts and followed after reward. They only following after you because, man, you can give me this, you can give me that. I looking to get this contract. I looking for you to do this for me, this, that, third. Right? But this year, that's going into leaders who turn a blind eye to wrongdoing, who allowing these fraudulent documents and then to get past and to get in. But if you allowing that, the Most High gets something else for you. All right? Because what is happening here? This is a leader who is going to benefit from corruption. Yep. All right? This is a leader who is going to allow injustice to continue. But yeah, it is. The Most High power, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, he called that bullshit out directly. See what I said? He called that out directly. And if these the things you're standing on, the angel already gone forth to prevent all of that from happening. So that can't happen. See what I said? Because what? Justice must not be perverted. Right? See what I said? You got something? No, man, brother, go ahead. Let's get Deuteronomy 16 and 19, brother. Okay? Done.
This is Deuteronomy 16 and 19.
Read.
Thou shalt not wrestle judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doeth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous.
Right. Meaning what? Justice must be fair and protected. So systems like election must not be manipulated using fraudulent documents.
That.
All right? Using them people of another nation. You see what I said? Moses ain't down with that.
Said.
This shit ain't supposed to happen.
Said.
Okay? But when a leader fails, the whole nation damn suffer. The whole nation catch hell. You see what I said?
So that means if it continues, real hell coming.
There you go. All right. Let's get Ecclesiastes 10, 5 and 6, brother. All right, because this is the evil, wicked thing, man. Paul each set is great dignity. Yeah. Yep.
And people would And people who are truly morally corrupt, they can't see it. No, they can't see it. They just looking at receiving gifts or bribes. All right.
Every time we call this a silly season.
Mhm.
Every time when they come around with $200-300 drop off the ship.
Mhm.
But when you add that $200-300 up, that what could that do for you in 5 years?
Mhm.
You say it.
Done.
Right. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 5. There's an evil which I've seen under the sun, as an error which proceeded from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
Right. So this is letting you know when leadership is corrupt or careless. You understand? And I always say this. When you see a person be in power for too long, that can corrupt him. You understand? All right. Because now what is going to happen? The wrong people now is going to gain influence. Hence, the Asian people use me and I use you. Right? You see what I saying? You empowering them, man. You influencing them.
Yeah,
You see what I saying? Now, order is turning upside down.
yeah,
Because these people ain't have no respect for order, no respect for country,
right.
no respect for laws.
Nope.
See what I saying?
Right.
That's the kind of shit what is happening. Go ahead, brother.
And we saw that, after the devastation of the hurricane in one of the islands over here in the Bahamas, how they feel, because they Levites, after all that stuff happened, they wanted to take over. They feel they have privilege, boy.
Yeah.
You know?
But the Prime Minister back and use me and I as you, and only behemoths can vote.
Mhm.
So why, if he's saying that only behemoths can vote, now what they're doing? They getting their voters card.
Mhm.
They getting passports, fraudulent documents.
Mhm.
They say they are behemoths.
That's it.
It's wicked, boy.
You don't grow your population like that, man.
That's it.
But anyhow, the scripture says leaders are watchmen and responsible for what they allow. You see what I'm saying? And the current damn leader, he allowed it and create this mess.
Mhm.
All right. Let's get Ezekiel 3:17 and 18, bro. Got it. Okay, now we are the prophets. Jeremiah 28:8 prophesied both of many countries, war, evil, pestilence, right? Kings and all. Got it.
And Salaki, right? Let me just make this clear. We don't have no rat in this race.
No,
We just bringing no prophets to tell you what will happen.
that's it. Okay.
This is Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand.
Right. So this is there we speak that, leaders are responsible not just for what they do, but for what they allow to happen. You understand? Someone, the blame always got to fall to someone. And in this case, it is to the leaders. All right. So now we're going to bring it all together, right? If a system allows illegal voting, fraudulent documents, all right, corruption in election, then according to the Bible, all right, the whole system is corrupt. And these individuals are found guilty of sin, of lying and theft and deception of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. See what I said? The leaders of the systems are guilty if they ignore it, if they allow it, if they benefit from it. because they are supposed to protect justice and order. And in allowing so, and allowing that, you guilty of that one. See what I said? Yeah. So again, from the scriptures, right? Justice must be protected. Leaders must enforce righteousness. Corruption, even if it's hidden, you got to bring that shit to judgment. All right. And the system that allow fraud, system that allow fraud are held accountable. So if fraudulent voting is happening and it's allowed, not just that person is wrong, but it becomes a national leadership issue before Yahweh, and he's going to step in. Okay? So now, you see now, this here now is where the angel of the Lord step forward now. Because I can be real with you. You could feel a shift in the environment and in the atmosphere politically.
Yeah, you feel it now.
See what I said?
You wasn't feeling it couple months, but I sure feel it now through
All
the
right,
spirit.
done. What is right? Give me Daniel chapter 10. We can start at verse 12, brother.
Unwise king destroyed his people, boy.
Done. Done.
This is Daniel 10 and 12. Then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thy heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy power, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words.
Right. So the angel come to, give Daniel the understanding and the breakdown of, the dream, right, or this vision, right? Read, brother.
But the prince of the kingdom of Persia,
You see that? But the prince of the kingdom of Persia is dealing with the government, yeah, right? Read.
withstood me 121 days.
Right, withstood him 21 days. So now this angel now is in the spirit. So guess what? All these fraud documents and all of these shit now, the same way the angel of the Lord back then went forth in the spirit. Okay? Those 120 days, 21 days. It's the same way now. How does angel of the Lord, you got what? 30 days, 31 days now before election. Done. Good. So the angel now is in the spirit now, and more, you're gonna see more and more fraudulent passport, voter card, NIB being exposed. All right. So this year's let us know where the election is going. What is gonna be the outcome of the elections last year. All right, read that again from the top.
There's nothing can 13. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me one and but lo, Michael, one of the chief prince, came to help me. And I
Right. You see that? All right. So this is Uriel or Raphael. No, or Gabriel. Gabriel. All right. So Michael had to come and help him. That's how much wickedness and evil was happening. So the Lord had to, send help. He had to get help. Right? You see that yet? Yeah. Read.
let me read that again. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 121 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days.
Right. To the end time. Right? But the point is, he remained there with the king to oversee, that this king could be set up. Okay? Same set way in this time. Ain't no different. But we have a lot of shit going on. We have a lot of shit happening. All right, whether you believe it or not. All right? But this election in this country, it's going to be something serious. But, like I say, This ain't the original lesson I had in mind to bring out, but I couldn't rest. I couldn't find no peace. You understand? I've been tormented, yesterday evening, first thing this morning. This was in me. So I had to bring this out. So whoever needed to hear it, or whoever got to hear it. You know, like Paul say, man, I haven't shunned to declare the whole gospel unto you. Right? You understand? This is what it is. Everything we come directly out of the mouth of the Lord. All right?
Right. That's pretty much how much more days we have before election?
30 or 31 days, something like that.
You will see in the spirit things start to get intense with these people. These people on another whole another level of wickedness, lone division, hatred, malice. Family members, wife and husband, all kind of things happening in this day and time. Wickedness on a whole nother level right now in the spirit.
Yeah.
But we renouncing corruption.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Corruption.
We don't care. At the end of the day, we just, telling you what thus said the Lord.
Yeah. You look at it too, you see our people, okay, they going all out for this party and that party. All right. At the same time, you have the ancient they mixed up within it as well. See, not knowing, okay, that this right here, this is a part of our custom. You see, as Israelites, we didn't vote a king in.
That's it.
Right? All right.
Right. You could imagine how much witchcraft can be going on right in this country. A lot of witchcraft in this country.
Exactly. All right, and whatever they intend to do, as far as with witchcraft, the angel already gone forward in the spirit. So the outcome, you just gotta wait and see the outcome.
Done.
But yeah, man, that's what the Lord put in my spirit to bring out. That's all I got. Yeah. All right. So with that, all praises to
Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rokakwadas, Shalom, and the Bible, Shalom.